final stop of round 18. The scramble for Champions Cup and playoff places really heating up now. Northampton against Gloucester. Bigger sends it up to the 22. He sent it beyond the 22. An inauspicious start. Jimmy, the stuff of nightmares for 10s.
That's your worst nightmare as a 10, and not the start Northampton will be looking for. And what a perfect opportunity now for Gloucester. This is a perfect set piece place. Looks like they're going for a 4-2 split. So Cipriani's got his option of the left foot down the left side, but I'll be saying they'll be looking to pass it to the edge and take some yards.
It's really windy coming this way. That ball's come towards our touchline. It's so windy. Really picked up, so ball probably just got caught up in that.
Opening scrum of the game.
It's been a strength for Gloucester, hasn't it? A big back five to add their weight behind. Lots of Honeck, Balmain.
Well done, Fraser. Well done.
I think we're staying, yeah? And then elbow up.
His reputation since he arrived has been hugely positive for the Cherry and White.
Bring it up, please.
Those two you mentioned, the props either side of Murray, Honeck and Balmain have really had to go to the well this season. They've put in an unbelievable shift. They've had a few problems at props in terms of their depth. Today they've got Rapava Ruskin and Ruan Drea on the bench, so happy to be able to deploy some high quality. It's there for Morgan, not the tidiest. It's gone backwards, and Hines looks for territory. Effectively done.
Yeah, it's just not a great set piece off the base here. Ben Morgan just dropping that there, but well tidied up, and that's what we call about just a bit of control from Willie Hines and putting in behind Noel Volo.
What a significant influence he is on this group, Willie Hines, growing seemingly with every month that passes. Captain for the 36th time in the Premiership, and very much that calming presence you saw when he was injured a little earlier in the season. They lost their shape a little bit, Gloucester, as Morgan heads towards the 22. Hines whips it away. This is Murray, loves to carry, but he's well met. Heinrich Brousseau and Courtney Laws holding him up very effectively. And they've won possession as a result with the choke tackle.
Two big turnovers from the forwards there, one for either side. A big steal from Moster at the initial line-out. Northampton trying to go to the front, and then Courtney Laws probably a little bit upset with having not won the line-out. Makes a huge intervention in midfield. Him and Brousseau. Brousseau spins round to come on the Gloucester side so that they can't get any support. Look at him using his body as a shield and allowing Courtney Laws to get his arms underneath the ball, underneath the armpits, and preventing the player from going to ground.
Yeah, had a little time out. Courtney Laws with calf problems. Back against Claremore in that crazy match. He scored 38 points in the over end, didn't they, Ben, and still lost the match.
So the scrum hasn't been an area of strength for Saints this year. It's getting better, and that'll be a big boost for them early on. It's certainly got better as the season's come on.
Bigger measuring this up a little more carefully with the wind factored in this time.
Yeah, he's a little bit conservative there, but this is just a great opportunity now to get a set piece, get into the game and get on the front foot, get these forwards around the corner. He's looking to get over the gain line and make some yards into the Gloucester defence.
Reece Marshall, the Saints hooker, still no Hartley or Haywood. James Fish injured as well at the moment. Well taken by Moon, and Marshall has it at the back here. They're making good headway as well with a penalty advantage. Hutchinson at first receiver. Francis the dummy runner. Bigger. Spread wide from Tuala to Naira Voro. Slipping through one. Reiner. Bigger hits the game line himself. Thunderous collision with Franco Mostert. Francis, and there's space here for Paul Hill. Dragged down just inside the 22. Great attacking intent here from Saints. Francis enveloped. Reinach driven back by Ackerman. Balmain on the assist. This is Van Veek. Seems to have hung on to that loose head shirt over and above Alex Waller in recent weeks. Bigger. Caught in two minds. Whipped away regardless. Francis to Nairavoro again. Bouncing through the tacklers. Skittling Gloucester defenders and scoring a wonderful try.
Wow, wow, wow. Nairavolo, they call Xavier the bus. I don't know what you call him. The lorry truck. You would not want to tackle him 10 metres out from your own line. Great interplay from Francis, and then just hang on your hats. He's going backwards at a rate of knots. Hudson at the back. What a try. What a start for Northampton. Straight through Panahan as well. Panahan's a big boy. What a carry.
I was just about to say, we need to take a very careful look at this, because he went straight over the top of Matt Banahan.
Not many people in the Premiership have ever done that. He is one massive unit.
Goodness. Banahan the first speed bump, 12 trees the second, and Nairavoro with his 5th try in the Premiership. Quite an announcement from Northampton in these opening minutes. It's tight, but it's just wide. What a start they've made, Ben.
What a start. All about the power game. Eventually, when it comes to this man, as you said, he just manages to get Banahan stationary. So if you've got no momentum against this guy, there's nothing to knock him off balance.
Tuala gathers the restart. Reinach at the base, who has just been utterly brilliant this season. Week in, week out. Scoring tries for fun, organising well. A little loop before sending up the box kick. Hudson is chasing forwards, takes it brilliantly. Upended in the tackle from Marshall. Ackerman. Perhaps Gloucester can build for the first time some meaningful momentum here. Cipriani for Atkinson. And there's the penalty. Tackler not... sorry, the tackle... There we go. Well, let Craig Maxwell-Keys explain it, but... Northampton Saints falling foul of the ref. Turning down the chance of points.
Yeah, it was an interesting exit there from Northampton. I've seen at the backfield they had Gloucester put 5 back. I know Dan Bigg is very good under the high ball, but they need to just play a little bit of awareness and look up, because there's an opportunity if they want to spin that ball wide and create a little bit more space on the outside edge.
Run out time for Franco Murray. To the tail where Mostert arches his back, and it's whipped out, and Heinz is tucking it back in behind Cipriani. Sharples one-on-one, steps inside. Fallback had to be lively. Murray, penalty advantage. Offside line breached. Cipriani looking to massage the defences. Over the top he goes. Atkinson slips past the defender. Oh, it's Nairavoro. Atkinson for Gloucester, and the Cherry and Whites hit back.
Oh, again, penalty advantage. Cipriani pulled the strings, pulled the trigger, got the ball out the back of the second man play. Nairavolo had a one-on-one with Atkinson and just did not come up. He sat down on his feet, and oh, what a finish. In and out, little fend, Gloucester straight back.
There's a wonderful bit of work from Atkinson, but have we just seen there, Jimmy, why a man like Nairavoro, so blisteringly deadly, moving forward, ball in hand, has not played more for his country?
Oh, he just switches on and off, like as a winger there, you know, the man on pretty much. He comes high. You know, you see every very good wingers, they sit really high and try and take that last man in defence. And he just sat back and just gave any person in the Premiership a bit of space, and they're going to take that opportunity. Well finished.
Tough conversion for Billy Twelvetrees. Well, all that preparation pays dividends. He's no Jimmy Gopperth when it comes to the speed of execution, but 12 Trees has got the job done, and Gloucester are in front after 10 minutes.
It's just a big lack of line speed from Northampton. They're actually numbered up. Only one of them keeps going forward. It's just that trust, and that's the effect that Danny Cipriani has. People are worried about his ability, and they try and read what he's doing, but you've got to take away that space.
Morgan for Gloucester, puncturing the gain line, dragged down by Alex Moon.
Played back in.
Here's Slater, holds it back neatly for Cipriani. Onwards they go. Oh, that was just a little bit too high. And here goes Francis. There's a big hole, and Francis will exploit it. Tries raining down on Franklin's Gardens.
Wow, wow, wow. We just talked about before how Gloucester were holding players back in the backfield, and they should have ran then. It was the right option from Gloucester, but execution, Francis, straight on the scraps. First man on the ball, under the post, surely 7 points. What a start. What a game.
Well, we thought on arrival here there might be a few points in it. A couple of sides who are intent on attacking, and Bigger makes sure that Northampton get full value for it. 12 points to 7. Opportunistic stuff here from Francis, but Creel couldn't hold the ball from Cipriani. It was a little too high. It's kind of head high, and Francis swept it up.
That's the coach's nightmare, because it's on to go from there. They're doing the right thing. It's just a little bit of inaccuracy. So do you send on a message saying, you know, with a big telling off, because actually it's just one player dropping the ball, but it's cost you a big number of points.
Marcy Tuala, the man underneath the restart this time. Here's Ludlam. One or two question marks over his participation today. Had a rather sore back, but he's up for the battle. He's been in wonderful form too, injecting real purpose and energy into the Saints' back row this season. Reinach's clearance, Ben.
Yeah, just looking at the build-up to Northampton's first try, this is Gloucester's, this is stolen from Gloucester's playbook. Bigger's going to run round the back of Hutchinson. You're going to see Francis run the tight line. The ball's going to go in behind, and then Archie Tuala's on the outside. They then go wide, trying to get that one-on-one. And in the end, it led to the try, but this is stolen directly from Gloucester's playbook. They've been doing it all season. Northampton have started doing it in the last few weeks, and it's paying huge dividends.
Another penalty to Gloucester coming here. Ben Morgan, again, beyond the gain line, beyond the 10-metre line. Cipriani, width on the ball. Here's Banahan. Chips over the top, looking to gather it in. And back we go for the previous offence.
Again, Nairavola is just getting caught on the edge. He doesn't know if to come in or stay out, and they're really picking him off with that. But they're putting two players on them the end, and we're calling it. They're trying to split him either side, inside and outside, and making it a one-pass play for that third attacker with the ball. And he's just sitting in no man's land. They're going to get some really good yards down on the edge if they continue doing it. As you see here, he doesn't know if to come in or out. They're loading on him, and unfortunately for Banahan, that ball is going out. But good decision from Gloucester here, putting the pressure straight back on them.
Particularly with this forward pack, they'll have a drive. They would have wanted it a little bit closer to the line than that, maybe. But first opportunity for Gloucester to get not only that drive going, but the explosion of the back row is out of the resulting maul once they've tied in enough Northampton shirts. But they've got to win the ball first, and then they've got to counteract the likes of Courtney Laws and Moon coming through, trying to disrupt that maul.
Five-man line out taken in by Slater. Oh, that was slick with the dummy runner, and Atkinson slices through. 4 tries in the space of 14.5 minutes. Atkinson has his second. We have a game on here.
Wow, that one straight from the training park. You just see them wrap around. What a line from Atkinson. You can just see as they peel, it's a dummy front peel. They're looking to get to the seam, inside the seam. The tail gunner just puts a little bit too much pressure on the hooker coming around. And what a short line from Atkinson. He gets a double already. What a game, what a game.
Yeah, that was very, very slick, wasn't it? Perfectly executed. 2 more from the boot of Billy. 12 Trees And Gloucester regain the lead at 14 points to 12.
When those things happen, you practiced them all week. Something will have been spotted in the Northampton defensive formation off the back of line-outs, and when they come off, big
I agree. Yeah. There's a clear
feeling of joy from the coaching staff.
Standard both ways for you.
Mark Atkinson, who has been pretty much a fixture during this season in the midfield. That's Morgan, who's taken his eyes off it, and Ludlam is in possession here for the Saints.
Yeah, you're unlucky on your pickup.
Is that one a little unfortunate? Or there was a knock-on subsequent to Morgan's?
That's the ultimate coach killer. Get points. All you're thinking about is just get an exit, put the pressure back on Northampton, and now Northampton have got the opportunity to strike straight back.
And you would have thought, having seen the little huddle immediately after the try, that that's exactly what they would have been saying to each other as well.
Oh, exactly. And to be fair, Dan Bigger put that one, you know, that's the exact area he put one out on the full, the very first kick of the game. That one there, he trusted himself and it was pinpoint accuracy. Morgan just couldn't handle the high ball.
Point.
Maravoro hugging that left-hand touchline. But
You need to balance yourself. Toppled into the scrum.
Gloucester were narrow. Cipriani's decided to fire it as far as he can downfield. Furbank on the chase.
Wait, Northampton.
Clearance is a strong one from Furbank, taken quickly by Sharples. Ackerman to Hudson. Hudson back from terrible trouble with concussion. This is Morgan. Heinz. Slater. 12 trees. Atkinson. Crisp handling here, but Sharples is bundled by Ludlam. And here's Murray having to tidy things up. Ryanak makes the tackle. Mostert. To the short side. Murray, the dummy runner. Atkinson digs it through, touches fan. Ben.
Yeah, just looking at the try, it's how they overload the defence at the back. So Marshall there is overloaded by Sharples and Atkinson coming, but Cipriani is still going to drift out. That's going to open up the gap between Harrison. He just has a think about Cipriani. It's enough for Atkinson on a hugely positive drive through the line just to sneak past the defender.
Yeah, it's a brilliant set play. You see a lot of teams using it now. Just that little fake at the front just holds the defender, and then Harrison just gets himself a little bit too wide.
Marshall to Moon.
We see so much of Cipriani floating in behind. It's very difficult not to be thinking it's definitely going to him out the back.
No, two!
And it's all you need is just that hesitation of the defender.
Moon again in the carry. Made his first Premiership start back in November, really making strides now.
3 off feet!
Laws. Brought down by Slater. Bigger to the air. Maravoro hunting this one down. Hudson. Calm. Slipping past the tacklers as well. Mostert.
Gloucester have got an opportunity if they want to run this, but that looks like they're going to set up the box kick to relieve this pressure.
She goes from Heinz. Played by Furbank. Oh, then he spilt it. And now then, Gloucester have a real opportunity. Murray for Ackerman. Decides to straighten. Heinz burrowing for it. Cipriani changing the point of attack, heading back to the short side. And Banahan's left it behind himself.
Yeah, just really unfortunate there with Banahan just overrunning. Danny actually seen the opportunity. They're a little short on that blind side. Naravolo again trying to pick on him on the edge, and if Banahan was just a little bit deeper, there was a real opportunity.
Balance, that's what I'm seeing. If you're balanced and they're not, I see the difference.
I think maybe Banahan thought that ball was going to come directly to him with that face pass from Danny Cipriani, but as soon as it goes into Creel's hands, he's overrun it. He can't tread water.
Up a bit more, please.
Again, now this is a brilliant, as the back line here, this is a brilliant setup. Naravolo, he's floating in around Bigger. Danny will not be looking the sights of him coming down this channel.
Yeah, might be calling for reinforcements. Out it comes, and Reinach floats it across the face of Hutchinson, who slips on Gathering. Bigger. Chasing through his Furbank. Race on here for Hudson. The ball will beat the lot of them. So let's bring in Matt Ferguson, who's the scrum coach for the Northampton Saints. Oh, frenetic start, Matt. You've scored twice, and on both occasions you've let Gloucester back in. What's the feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the word frenetic is exactly what we're feeling here. Really, this game has been very much based around control of the breakdown to control the tempo of the game, and at the moment both teams are being loose there, which is putting a big impact on defensive organisation.
How does that work for you then? Are you trying to get messages on to tighten things up a little more structure?
Yeah, not so much tighten things up. We don't want to tighten things up. We just need to be a little bit more accurate. It's really important for us that our speed of ball allows us to attack, but also we know that speed of ball is exactly what Gloucester want as well.
Thanks for your time, Matt.
Cheers.
Hines saw pressure coming from Reinach there, and he's got underneath it as a result. Up goes Bigger.
Back off White.
Cipriani feeds Hines, always looking for the options. Hudson's there, bringing in Banahan. He's going to try to batter his way through Harrison, but Harrison has his number. Slater, 12 tree, space on the outside here potentially. Floated across by Atkinson for Sharples. Nice pass. Tuala makes the tackle beyond halfway.
7-0.
Balmain. Cipriani, 12 trees. Little short pop, and it's Creel charging through. Jakob Creel, he's got a good turn of pace as well. Deep inside the 22. Furbank makes the tackle. Third time inside the 22. Ball in hand here for Gloucester. Morgan rolling and rolling. Hines. Balmain with Honak locked on alongside him. Ball has been slowed up. Craig Maxwell-Keys awards the penalty to Northampton.
He's on the ball first. No effect at all.
Well, Gloucester really finding some holes in that middle of the field. They're taking some really short balls. Cipriani's been allowed a little bit of time on the ball and squaring the defensive up. And what a line from Jakob Creel. Just straight through. He nearly had the pace to finish it off.
He's going some, but ultimately, excellent bit of work over the ball from Timana Harrison. That's not got the distance on it that Figure would have liked.
You just see how 12 Trees is allowed to come around the back, or Cipriani first, then 12 Trees is allowed to square his defender up. Jakob Creel reads his body language and then just comes straight through, but some great work at the breakdown to eliminate that opportunity.
Creel, who's had a lot of injury problems, not just at Gloucester, but with his time in South Africa as well under Johan Ackerman at the Lions. But what a player. At his best, he could be some force if they keep him fit for the remainder of the season. Back row stocks loaded for the Cherry and Whites, it must be said. Reinach, pinpoint accuracy. Sharples, that's gone forwards. It's fallen for Brousseau. Moon, Francis, Hutchinson, good pace from Furbank, but he was shut down. And the ball has been dislodged in the tackle. I'm going to credit the Gloucester defence there.
Yeah, brilliant scrambling defence. I see it's just starting to rain now, so the ball's just getting a little bit greasy. Great pressure on the kick chase. Dan Bigger, that's his strength. He's right up there putting opportunity. And again, just great scramble defence from Gloucester, just eliminating that opportunity on counter-attack. Furbank, he looks like a good player. He's got hitting the lines really hard. And again, that youthfulness coming through, just no fear. Loving the way these young Northampton players are playing the game.
They have a very fine crop. Furbank, 22 years old, slotting in at 15. No Harry Mallender, of course, at the moment. We won't be seeing him again this season, sadly.
Point!
Interesting setup now. You got two in behind Banahan and Cipriani. Cipriani, they can go either way. I think they're going to go straight to Atkinson and then fire it out the back to Cipriani.
There it is, Cipriani with his hands on the ball. Hudson. Through the first challenge of Hutchinson. Good pick up from Moster. That was a tough one for Cipriani to gather. That's gone forwards.
Good defence from Saints. They're using a hard drift, so they're almost letting all the play unfold in front of them, losing a bit of metres in the process.
Yeah, we're going backwards under pressure.
And there's a good example of that here, but one player goes off script. Courtney Laws it is, but just look at the hard drift. They've got Gloucester in their own 22. Gloucester just playing so lateral, so they just drift with it, At the last minute, Courtney Laws changes his mind, thinks he knows where it's going and steps in, but Atkinson spots he's planted his feet and he's turned his shoulders inwards, which allows that long pass across the face to Sharples, and he makes the break down the outside.
That's when you're numbers down, the best defender on the field is the touchline. So just let them take 10, 15 yards, but just marshal them to that touchline. Then you can reset yourselves, and then they have to make up another move or another set play to come out of that.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Reinach from the base, he can't allow him any kind of space. Cipriani with a tap tackle, he's pulled it off. Francis wrestling. Away it comes from Bigger again, this time it's Paul Hill. This game is continuing to be played at a very hectic rate.
It's open play and it's all off players' legs.
That was so unlucky from Bigger. There was absolutely no one in the backfield. It was a great option, just the execution.
Ludlam runs into Honek and Mostert. Bigger, Hill, taken by Franco Murray.
Ball is exposed.
And Courtney Laws is caught. Slater managing to get up quickly on him. Rousseau. Hutchinson tries to send up the up and under. It's touched in flight. Heights gathers it. Sharples now. Well held by Van Veek. Ludlam has hurt himself a little in the contact there as Ackerman rides towards the 10-metre line and the whistle is blown.
Yeah, the ball's just a little bit greasy with that little bit of rain coming down now, and the defenders are noticing that, so they're really trying to target the ball in the contact area, just slipping it out. So we're getting a few scrums that the backs aren't too keen on, but it's all part of the game these days.
They're really borderline, yeah? Keep showing me they're coming through.
Kovac Reinach, he is, if not he is the Premiership Player of the Year so far. His pace and ability around the fringes, you cannot give him half a yard. He's gone. He's got the speed of a winger. He's playing unbelievably well.
Yeah, he looked gone, didn't he? And Cipriani did very well to affect the tap tackle, brought him down ultimately. So let's remind ourselves what else is on offer on BT Sport across the next week or so. Wednesday, 9:30, Rugby Tonight's back on tour. This time we're at Walcott RFC in Bath. Bates and Ben will be joined by Tolupi Falatau and Matt Garvey. What a game we have for you. Friday night, 7 o'clock, Kingston Park. Newcastle against Leicester. That is 12th against 10th. Friday, 7 o'clock, BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD. It is the West Country Derby. Saturday, 2:30, Gloucester against Bath. 3 and 4K UHD. And then Sunday, we're at Sandy Park for Exeter, who were outstanding yesterday against the Tigers. Up against Jimmy Gopperth's Wasps, 2:30. And there's a chance you'll be involved, Jimmy. Potentially, maybe.
We'll see how the week goes, but we're nearly there.
Stay there. Lost control of the back.
Reinach. Again from the base, this is Hutchinson, lovely balance runner, stays on his feet, gets the offload away. Harrison striding forwards. What a tackle that is from Sharples, absolutely critical. It's still on here for Northampton. There's the intercept, and Balahan has a long way to go. Nairavoro giving chase, so too Francis. Francis drags him down, it's 12-3s, that was high. Still there for Gloucester, with the advantage. Goodness. It's all happening.
Oh, talk about exciting rugby. You'd think Northampton were gone for all money, and then Bunham picks it out. Nairavolo could be in trouble. He could be in trouble here.
Line break 22. Yellow card threshold for me. What player?
So it's not a yellow card for the danger of the tackle. They know it's a seatbelt tackle, but it's the fact that it's prevented a potential try-scoring opportunity, and it's cynical.
Are you making the tackle? You making the tackle?
No, but wasn't a high though, was it?
High tackle's a call. It's not a yellow card because it's a high tackle, but we're on a line break, which makes it a yellow card.
Yeah, I don't like that ruling. It's on the edge of the 22. He's still got an opportunity. He's going to make, if he's going to make a normal tackle, he's still got 15, 20 metres to go. It's a brilliant piece of skill from Banahan, though.
And actually, where his hand initially strikes is sort of on the corner of the shoulder, which on the arm's okay, you'll get away with that. But the fact that Billy Twelvetrees goes straight to ground means that it slides up over the top. Look, it's sort of on the side there, but then it looks worse over the top. But you know, the referees are given stipulations and they're given ways of refereeing, and they all say as soon as there's a break, if there's a bit of not necessarily foul play, but a deliberate penalty given away, it's got to be a yellow card.
Saints with 14. Up against Gloucester with 15, who are bearing down on the Northampton try line. Ackerman has secured the line-out ball. It's there for Franco Murray. They're making ground.
That's one, Twilly.
Gloucester seeking their third try. Again, it's Atkinson who's actually seeking a hat-trick, believe it or not, inside the half-hour mark.
No, not the second man, end 5!
Laws gives up the fight. Murray for Morgan. And Slater. Ackerman looking to be driven over. Titanic defending here from Northampton. Try awarded though. Ackerman finds a way. And Gloucester do have their third. And unlike the other two, it was brought about through brute force.
Yeah, and that's been the difference for Gloucester this season, is their forward pack. Just huge carriers, big men. All started from the driving line-out, and then they just worked in. Axton again, breaking the gain line, nearly got there for this third, and then the forwards took over, and they know when that whitewashes. Great finish. Gloucester taking the lead in this, taking control.
Oh, it's really impressive from Gloucester with their patience, because the defence from Northampton was really good, competing hard at the breakdown. Baruso did a great job of slowing it down, followed by Courtney Laws. They didn't panic, and they knew eventually they'd have enough power, no matter how much Northampton tried to plug the dam.
It's
The
a
holes just kept
big
appearing.
area now that Reinach and Bigger really have to manage this area. Saints have been quite guilty of, as soon as they give a yellow card, they leak a few points, and you know, it hasn't got off to the best start, but they have to manage this sort of last sort of 8-9 minutes now to the best of their ability to try and limit the damage.
Ackerman scoring for the third consecutive week of action for Gloucester as Morgan sets off. Has to be a little bit of managing here from Gloucester as well, because they've been guilty of the lapses after scoring themselves. Furbank tested out, takes it nicely on halfway. Reinach for Laws and Van Veek. Reinach again. Somehow slithering through. Bigger. Furbank. Testing out Hudson, that's a very tricky kick. And the bounce. Oh, Hudson's done brilliantly well. He's been driven over, so that will be a 5-metre scrum. But Hudson on deck when there was big trouble in the Gloucester backfield.
We talk about game management, and Furbank has summed up the opportunity. No backfield, put a little grubber in, but Hudson's done extremely well not to cause anything else bar a 5-metre scrum.
Even a little glance just as he was chasing the ball to check where the onrushing attackers were too.
Hutchinson there was really good, because he didn't just dive on top, which would have been a penalty. Doesn't have to let the man up, but as soon as he starts to slide over the line, he just gives him an extra little push, extra little bit of leg drive to ensure his team get the 5-metre put in.
Priceless time inside the cherry and white 22 for a man,
Crouch.
aside a man down.
Bind. Set.
And they've won the penalty. Gloucester front row heading to deck too early.
It's an interesting decision now coming up. It's, you know, you're 5 metres out from your line, right on the touchline. Do you give it to Dan Bigger to slot 3 and take that time up on the yellow card, or do you go straight for the line out or a scrum and keep the pressure on?
Bigger's only just coming in now to offer his bit of advice as to what they should do.
Now they've made a call for the scrum.
Scrum. They obviously fancy this move that they had lined up off the back of the scrum.
Same setup.
Tuala here, he's right down on this near touchline. He's miles away from Furbank. So it's an interesting setup they've got. Obviously, Nairavolo would be hanging around Bigger to give that set. Matt Banahan's gone in at first receiver. So they've actually got 6 at the front line. They're all heavy front line. So I can't see this coming much out of number 8, to be honest.
Tuala was just waving. I think he thinks that space on this touchline's enough for a crossfield kick. Now Hudson's moving over to meet him, but...
9, go now!
Well, it's there with Harrison. Reinach breaks. Francis drives forward. Cipriani holds him. They're within 2 metres, though. Reinach looking to bring in the heavy runners. Great burst from Marshall. And Gloucester
It's the first man clamped on the ball.
get over the top of
The
it.
same pitch as the Courtney Laws penalty down there.
So effective. Was that Jaco Creel? Whoever it was.
Yeah, thank you. We got a Northampton medic.
The Gloucester teammates will be absolutely thrilled. It was looking very ominous.
It's easy to say with hindsight, but it just looked a little bit more panicked. All the lines were slightly ahead of 9 or just putting pressure on, and they're almost running away from their support players. When Gloucester scored their try a few minutes ago, they had bodies in and around them as they carried and they pick and went. That's a really, really strong from your 9 to come up with that sort of turnover. Brilliant from Hines.
Yeah, it's really key. You talk about the killer zone, the green zone, when you're in attack. You can't let any daylight really between your ball carrier and your cleaners, because the defence are going to be on you so quickly. You want to nearly pre-latch and drive them through the contact, so they have they can't have any opportunity to get in on those balls. And I think Brousseau just slipped as he was coming around the corner, and it just put him off 2 seconds, and that's all they, you know, great, even 9s need 2 seconds over the ball and it's turnover.
I think it's refereed slightly differently when you're defending on your own line as well. You almost, the referees aren't as quick to say hands off. Obviously now you can't neck roll, so if you can survive that first clean out as Willie Hines did there's nothing the opposition can do to shake you off. So it's a really good time to go for that big turnover, and Hines does it perfectly.
You talk about momentum shifts in games. Obviously Gloucester got the momentum shift when they got the yellow card. Northampton been putting a lot of pressure on now with the penalty, and those are the types of defensive momentum shifts that really, really give your team a massive boost.
Well, Gloucester getting through a few more metres. Much more value for their carry. And a little bit of breathing space here with a line out beyond the 22.
Hold your 2 metres, please. That's hold the 10, yep.
Murray to Moster. South Africans combining nicely.
That's once, backwards. Keep your right mind.
Hines, he's been caught. He's been caught by Ludlam. Brilliant bit of work from the blind side. Plenty of space on this near side for Sharples and Hudson potentially to exploit, but
let's not do that, please.
Safety first is the call. And Hines this time does get his clearance away. Furbank feeds Tuala. Still a couple of minutes on that yellow card for Nairavoro. Tuala gets up, goes again. Striding forwards as Harrison draws the man beautifully. Reinach is in. Thomas Reinach in sizzling form. top try scorer in the Gallagher Premiership, live wire. You can't take your eyes off him.
Oh, jeez. Who else? Oh, better. Tamana Harrison straight through. He's looking. Who else? Who better to have on your shoulder, on your right-hand shoulder? Corvus Reinach, 11th try of the season. What a way to manage this 10 minutes in the bin for Nairavolo. Get the kick and cancel out that 7 points from Gloucester. Brilliant, brilliant reaction to that ball.
Just shows the benefit as well of sending support runners down the same channel. You just run out of defenders. And as soon as there's that half-break opportunity, the teams that have been successful in the Premiership over the last few weeks have been the one that have flooded the channel with support. Just picked off those defenders, and when you've got Reinach on the end, only one result.
Loving this contest. 2 points in it, and Northampton have 7 points, having negotiated for the most part this yellow card. Yes, the concession of the Ackerman try, but they have one back of their own. Tuala did so well. Harrison, all eyes, wasn't he? Left and right. Reinach is always there. Last couple of minutes of the first half. Wants to go deep through Cipriani. Tuala at a pretty acute angle has done well, and he's looking at Paul Dixon saying, "Come on, give me a few more meters."
Don't we all us kickers look at that touchdown? Come on, mate, just a few more, just a few more. But we've got a good opportunity now for Gloucester, just inside the half. Surely Cipriani's got, they're gone for a 6+1, so you're going to see a drive come first, and then Cipriani probably run his favourite move, straight to 12, out the back to himself.
Slater gets it away for Willie Hines, who he thought twice about throwing the pass because Reinach was in the channel. Here goes Jakob Creel, and Atkinson for the hat-trick. Can he slide in? Yes, he can! A hat-trick for Mark Atkinson, and the tries just keep on coming.
Corvus Reinach, he actually made that try for him. He tried to sprint out to cut that pass off. What vision from Willie Hines to take the opportunity. And Jaco Creel just running such a good line off him. Great support play, using the wet ground to slide over.
It's great pressure in the line-out from Courtney Laws. That's one of those killers where you've done your job, but it just creates an opportunity for the opposition. As you said, Reinach flying out of the line, thinking he can intercept. Hines just holding on long enough to read that play. And then once Reinach's gone, there's no support defensively on the outside. They can just pick off Brousseau at the back of the lineup.
So crucial. Bonus point just before half-time.
Yep. It's in the bag, even if the win isn't. I think we can say that with some certainty at this point. There is so much still to happen in the second 40, but what an important score. Nairavolo back with us. Saints back to the full complement.
He's got until the time.
He spooned it. Well, sometimes too much time doesn't help your cause. Mark Atkinson, though, has had a 40 minutes to remember. His first hat-trick in Gallagher Premiership Rugby. We have a thriller here at Franklin's Gardens. Half-time, Northampton 19, Gloucester 26. Crazy days at the Gardens. It's been like Super Rugby. Lots and lots and lots of attack, not quite so much in the way of defence. The face that you were shown a moment or two ago, Api Ratuni-Yarawa, who's on for Alex Moon.
Saints have only got 13 players on the pitch at the moment. They've got Francis off on this side, they've got Hutchison off on the other side, just backing up for those long kicks over the top, making sure they don't get caught out, the ball going over their heads.
Asi Tuala gathers it in for Northampton just beyond the 22. No doubt the half-times have been dominated by the need for tighter defences on both sides, but as we were discussing, Jimmy, and goodness knows you've seen
Okay,
enough of
use
these
that,
sort of
please,
matches.
Nine.
You've been a part of enough of these sort of matches at the Rico in recent years. When a game has a dynamic like this, so frenetic, so loose, it's quite hard to rein it in sometimes.
Yeah, it sure is. You get a bit giddy and everyone wants to play. You see tries coming galore and you just want it. But now I think we see if Gloucester really want to have a contention of being the top 4 contender this year, this is the time they have to shut this game out. They have to win and win well if they want any chance of being title contenders.
Yeah, they've got their platform, haven't they? Playoff side finishes this off, but Northampton will have other thoughts.
There's a few problems at Gloucester at the moment. Danny Cipriani having to play at fullback as Hudson's gone down with a shoulder injury.
Rotini Arawa is bursting forwards as well. Hudson back up on his feet, doesn't look entirely comfortable. Bigger, that's Miles forwards. And Hutchinson takes it in, collides with Sharples. Bigger's questioning it, but not too much debate about that. And a little bit more time here for Hudson to recover.
He was out there, so I think he's probably very glad that whistle went. He didn't have to make that tackle. Obviously, they've lost back 3 players in the last few weeks. Maybe just gets hit here by Courtney Laws on the outside. It's the sort of collision that can cause your AC joint to pop slightly.
Yeah, it could have been just that one last bit there when he got driven to the ground. His ball was under his right arm and he just seemed to overextend his to shoulder joint there. But they're a 6-2 split, so you know that could cause problems in that last sort of quarter of that play.
Yeah, that's the problem with loading up with forwards, isn't it, on the bench? With Callum Brayley covering 9. Tom Seabrook, the youngster, is the only other back on the bench. Of course, they lost Woodward, Thorley, and Tom Marshall significantly this week, so the resource is just a little bit thin on that front. They'll be very hopeful that Hudson makes a full recovery here. Don't forget, Wednesday, Rugby Tonight on tour, 9:30, Wilcott RFC in Bath, in the company of Talupi Falatau and Matt Garvey. And then we're back to the Gallagher Premiership again, round 19, and an absolute firecracker at Kingston Park. Newcastle against Leicester at the bottom, Friday from 7 o'clock, BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD. It's Derby Day at Kingsholm next Saturday from 2:30, Gloucester against Bath. And then the Chiefs, the runaway league leaders, up against Wasps at Sandy Park, 2:30, BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD. Everything moving into pretty sharp focus now as the season reaches its crescendo.
Again, Gloucester have gone to this 2-4 split up with Sharples and Cipriani out the back. They'll be looking for Atkinson and 12 trees to lock up the first 2 defenders and create space on the outside.
It's there for Heinz. Here's Atkinson, the hat-trick man. 12 trees driving into Bigger. Slater pulled that back nicely. Cipriani over the top for Banahan. Tries to clatter his way through Hutchinson, who made himself enough of a roadblock. Cipriani. Flat pass. Oh, he's away, Balmain. Fraser Balmain needs some support. Still burrowing his way forwards. Stayed on his feet really well, Balmain. And they're within striking distance now. Cipriani for Ackerman. Tries to head through Courtney Laws. The arm is outstretched of referee Maxwell Keys. Mostert bundled.
It's penalty advantage, Willie.
With the penalty advantage. Honeck looping with Cipriani, and still they crash forwards. 3 metres out.
Still advantage.
Heinz and through. Slater. Gloucester starting the second half as they ended the first, and Ed Slater has their 5th of the game.
What a brilliant build-up. You know, it came from the midfield break with Balmain and finished off with Slater, but some great work on the first initial break in the middle. Here you see Cipriani came nice and square. He's got two of the attackers. They're splitting one defender, making him make a decision. Balmain, the beneficiary of Cipriani's on the outside ball, and then it's just all about brute power, staying on top, making the defence so they can't come forward, they can't recover. and then penalty advantage. Chance your arm, but then the big boys take over. What a start! What a start for Gloucester.
Muted celebrations from Johan Ackerman, but another to the tally to give them a little bit of clear water now. 12 Trees who missed that rather straightforward conversion at the back end of the first half after the Atkinson third try. Presented with a very familiar situation. The longer he waits, the more the Saints crowd get on his back. This one he converts, and there is a slightly different look to the scoreline at this point. 33 points to 19, Gloucester lead.
It's the multiple threats that Gloucester run at defenders. A lot of eyes looking back at the breakdown, and they're not picking up all the different options and numbering off. I think that's the key. Just building something on the initial break where the Northampton defenders obviously aren't telling each other who they've got, and they're both going for the same men, leaving spaces elsewhere.
Jamie Gibson's on for Lewis Ludlam.
Wingers on side, play on.
With a white wall. Bigger. Nice step from Bigger. Reiner for Raturiarawa. Tuala. No way through Slater. Doing his level best to hold him up. Raturiarawa again. Francis goes wide. Furbank sends it over the top. Nairavoro again. Hudson lining him up. Atkinson comes to his rescue. Raturiarawa, good momentum being built here by the Saints. Reinach for Brousseau. And Reinach had the ball knocked out of his hands. Penalty advantage here for Northampton. Francis, little show of the ball, sends it up for Hutchinson. Some real gas off the mark, isn't he, Hutchinson? And back we go. Gloucester flying over the top of the ruck to prevent the delivery from Reinach.
Yeah, it's just a good response from Northampton. Gloucester got a little bit short in defence. It's a great option to throw the ball over the top to make some great ground down the left-hand side, and just a cheeky little hand in there at the bottom of the ruck. One of those things the Nines hate, but it's Bigger. They have to get some points now. It goes to the corner. The Saints really have to fire a shot now, otherwise it could be a long old day at the office.
Thank you. I'll find out.
There's Jamie Gibson, who was one of those who really shone in the chaos in the event
just take a step from here, please.
last week. 13 tries in all. They lost 61-38. So they're well used to the chaotic dynamic of these matches, but they've lost the line out here, Northampton, and Banahan is driving up to the 22. Cipriani. Good distance on it, but he didn't get the bounce he was after. Furbank sends it up. Cipriani looking to gather this in. He's done well. Gathers Gibson as well as the ball. Big net gain for the Cherry and Whites, up to the 10-metre line now. One lost line out. And they might not see the ball again for a little while as Hudson flies up that left flank and just can't quite tiptoe in field. Ben.
They're just what I was talking about numbering up properly here for the Balmain break. Just watch here, they overload the runners, and Marshall steps in, Hill steps in, Marshall steps out, creates that opportunity. So it's just about that small talk to each other. Who've you got? Who's coming down your channel?
Okay, time back on.
And then you don't make those errors, and you look how close everyone gets. Once you get a break down the middle of the field, all the defenders get almost like bees to the honeypot back.
We're going to wait for more natural stoppers from this.
And then you lose all your line speed going wide. It plays right into Danny Cipriani's hands.
Competition.
Courtney Laws did well to cling on to that.
On the wrong side to see it. Okay, now let's use that, please.
The ball emerges. It's one of the
He's stood
minor
behind the ball.
blights on the game at the moment. The time taken over the box kicks. Sharples has missed it. Ackerman has it though. He's kept it in field somehow or other. Morgan smuggles it away to Balmain. He's dropped it as well. This is Honeck. Fortunately, each time the ball went backwards from a Gloucester perspective. Cipriani down the middle. Furbank chasing across, anticipating nicely, sizing up the options. Again, Cipriani looking to gather. There's an advantage. It's gone forward off the Gloucester 10. And they might work something here. Northampton, bigger for Gibson. Tuala, back to Gibson, couldn't hang it. Couldn't hang on to it.
Just a bit of desperation for the Saints. Trying to play, that's not a good sign. A shot that Chris Boyd would want to see. Cannot afford to lose Dan Bigger at this stage.
No, they're just rushing it. Obviously, they get a turnover there. It's only a knock-on advantage, and you know, if you chance your arm a little bit too much, the ref's always going to say advantage over, and they're just trying a little bit too hard there. It's either you go for it once or twice and set yourself up, but it's that dreaded sort of pullback from behind. I think he should be all right, but
just seemed to get that left leg caught, stuck a little bit, didn't he, Bigger?
Good defence by Sharples though, to mark the first man, hold off him enough that he didn't overcommit and still be able to get out to Tuala, force the fullback to pass the ball immediately back inside, and that's where the error occurred.
Be interesting to see if Gloucester use this little wraparound with the 8 and the 9. They create a lot of space on the outside opportunity and really take on the edge here with the space instead of kicking it. They used it very, very effectively a couple of weeks ago, actually against Wasps.
Height, please. Height again this way. We haven't had any issues
because you're so far up on the field.
Same as the first half.
Nairavolo has to respect the kick, so he's going to sit off and be a bit patient. So there's a real opportunity to get some really good yards down the right-hand side.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Stay up. Stationary, Gloucester.
Hines for Atkinson. Cipriani now then. Options and space. Cipriani through the hole. Gets the ball away and Hudson can't cling on. Nairavoro offloads nicely to Furbank. Hines on the chase. Furbank's got it. That's a high tackle and it's also touch.
Sure, the TMO will have a little look at it, just check.
Tie, penalty kick only, Craig.
He's being treated. Time's off.
Again, the set play, great set play from Gloucester, just unable to execute the last pass, and great reaction from Furbank.
It is, yeah.
Putting the kick in, Willie Hines looks like he's got it covered, and then just comes in lazy, just a lazy left arm over the top, which given Northampton an opportunity, is it?
Oh, you're right here. It slipped up, so it's the same as the one over there. In terms of its height, this is a penalty only because the context is completely different. It's your penalty for a high tackle. Penalty, high tackle, here.
Well, the Gardens are a bit disgruntled. They were looking for more than that, but they would be at this point.
Context is completely different to the one in the first half.
Are you in 15? Oh, okay, forget that.
In the meantime, we've lost Tom Hudson.
Agreed.
Time on.
And he's been replaced by Tom Seabrook. Only his second Premiership appearance this season, Seabrook. Try on his Premiership debut last May, memorably after just 58 seconds. That was against Saracens. Cipriani is down as well, so some key men having a few problems at the moment, Jimmy.
Yeah, and with that, as we talked about before, with that 6-2 split, that's the last person they need going off is Danny Cipriani. He's running the show really well for them, and it's going to give Ackerman some decisions to be made with some very, very important matches coming up.
So this will almost certainly require a shuffle in the Gloucester back division. Danny Cipriani back on his feet. Sharple's the likely man to move to fullback. Seabrook will go onto the wing.
I'd say Willie Hines, if it looks like Danny's just a little groin issue, I'm sure he'll better shrug it off, but I think if he's gone, I say Willie Hines has got all the experience in the world. He could slip into out half if need be.
Just talking about the efficiency of these two teams. This is where Northampton need to convert now. Look, everything's coming from line breaks at the moment. It would really help them if they could add another string to their bow. Get something from a line-out drive here.
Well, we've got to have a change. It is Cipriani coming off, and he's being replaced at the moment by Pelledri. So we're going to see 12 trees in at 10.
I think Pelledri's going on the wing. Oh, he'll love it. He'll love having all that space to run in.
See how this unfolds. Jamie Gibson's done a good job for Northampton.
You happy he's there, Matt? Always back there, yeah.
It looks very promising for Northampton. Slowly but surely, they are making headway. Reece Marshall pumping the thighs up to the line and over the line. Try scored. Life in Northampton yet. This crazy, chaotic match continues. Momentum shifts every which way. Cipriani off the field, Northampton with the try.
Yeah, Balmain trying to just stay in there, but he's being ineffectual because the ball's been moved away from him. So they've lost two bodies round the outside there. Another one comes in with Hines, but it's too late. They tried to stop it at source. They lost a couple of bodies trying to sack it, and when Northampton managed to stay up, look at the body heights there of the Saints. That's perfect technique. Really smart score.
Just a brilliant response.
Good work, Craig. Try confirmed.
That's wide from Bigger. Not the easiest, but in a match that, yes, has seen a lot of swings and ebbs and flows, every opportunity for points seems critical. Cipriani now heading down the tunnel. Sharple's having his ankle strapped. And the Gloucester back division looking rather different. Seabrook on. He's on the wing. Sharple's at full-back.
Sharple's limping badly as well. Yeah. This isn't ideal for the Gloucester coaching staff. Back three being torn apart over the last couple of weeks.
Okay. Time on.
12 trees for Gloucester.
Okay, use that, please. Thank you. Let's go.
Reinach has given that everything. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Ben.
Just looking at what they'll miss with Cipriani off the field. It's exactly the same shape we saw before from Northampton. 12 trees goes hard, narrows up the defensive line. They've got the threat of Sharples outside, so that opens up the gap between the two defenders, and Cipriani's got the pace to go through.
Yeah, 5 man, good.
But it's just that decision-making at 10 and Cipriani's ability to read what the defenders are doing, and if they bite in on him, he gives the ball to Sharples, and Sharples makes the break. If they stay wide for Sharples, he'll hold on long enough to make that decision and get through himself.
Mostert pops it back for Morgan to gather in for Gloucester. Confirmation that Jake Pelledri is on the right wing for the Cherry and Whites right now.
Okay, use it, please.
Seabrook on the left, Sharples at full-back. And the chase is on. Tuala, safe. Cries of a high tackle from the Franklin's Gardens crowd. The penalty advantage is being played, or is it? Yes, it is.
That's held. High tackle. That's held.
See, the Saints here can be really smart. I think they really need to pick on Pelledri here on the wing. You set him up on an opportunity with a wide play It's totally different. I think they're going to move him into blindside wing as defenders. That's a great shout from Gloucester because he's so exposed on the open side. But now, if I was Saints, I'd be looking to hit in the midfield and come back on the blind side and put him under massive stress.
Well, it is an altogether different remit, isn't it, for a man happier in the closer confines, as we see changes in the front row for Gloucester as well. Rapaba, Ruskin and Drea coming on for Honeck and Balmain. These are the perils of a 6-2 split on your bench. If you have any trouble in the back division, you are caught short. Tuala, a wild dummy.
On his arm, clearly on his arm.
Rolling forwards is Brousseau for Northampton. Ratuni Urawa, big fend on Murray. Northampton still with the bit between their teeth. Good line cut here by Van Veek.
Tackle now.
Laws. This is going to end 65-59 or something ludicrous, isn't it? Wide they go. Hutchinson, Gibson in the line, held by 12 Trees. Ratuni Urawa, quick transfer. Laws is there. Reinach breaks, holds it late. Brousseau has taken an absolute clobbering. He's clean out. Medic swiftly on.
Live, you've got a player dipping into a tackle. Is there anything I need to know about that brought to my attention?
That did not look good.
No, unfortunately,
David, all I've got live is a player dipping down into a
he's
tackle.
just come around the corner on a late ball, and
Just having a look.
oh, that's the last thing you
you're
want
right, he's dipping into a
to run
tackle.
into
It's an
is
accident.
Roskin's shoulder. I hope he's fine.
It was Ruskin's shoulder and Mostert lowered down, which the double hit doing for him. Ruskin fresh off the bench, having had an injury-plagued season, 3 months out with calf trouble back a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I've decided it is more down to the dipping of Brousseau than Ruskin, but he's slightly fortunate. He is slightly high. He has to go high because Mostert almost gets in his way of where he's going to strike. I absolutely don't want to see players punished for things that they have little control over. He definitely dips down there, but we have seen those decisions given against the defending player.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think he's been slightly fortunate, and there'll be other players in the Premiership that think he's got away with one where I didn't. But I have a real... The problem with this is the action of the ball carrier is quite dangerous. You know, anytime, and it's a natural reaction because they want to win the collision and they don't want to get knocked backwards, so they brace and go as low as they can. And for the tackler, it's very hard to react quickly enough to drop your height any lower. You've lined someone up to make the shot, they dip, they've actually done the more dangerous thing than you as the tackler.
Yeah, very true. And as a ball carrier on that occasion, he's come around late on a shoulder ball off Reinach. So he knows he's isolated if he's going to get tackled. So he does want to dip as low as he can to stop like the choke tackle and so forth. And unfortunately, he's just run into two mutes.
On the screen, it's a serious injury. The team almost went to the truck. It's just unfortunate. Normal pick and go. But he's dipping down as much as the player's coming to make the tackle.
Lewis Ludlam is
unpleasant as it is.
up amongst the coaching box, offering his Fulpney worth.
Triana Harrison just going and getting clarification of that from the referee as to why there wasn't looked at. The referee saying the TMO's had a look at it.
Should also mention, as we see him lifted up off the ground now happily, Heinrich Brousseau had 3 months out with concussion before Christmas. And it's these repeated blows that are the real worry, Jimmy.
They are, and unfortunately, some of my teammates at Wasps, Tommy Taylor and Simon McIntyre, have had the same things. It's repeated head collisions and having to spend months and months on the sideline, and it's a part of the game that seems to be just getting more and more. There's lots and lots more head collisions. Yes, guys are getting bigger, stronger, faster, but it's just these things you can't get away from, and we wish them all the very best, and hopefully it's not as bad as first expected.
So the end of Heinrich Brousseau's day. It's difficult to watch. So back onto the field, after the warmest of receptions for Brousseau, is Lewis Ludlam, who didn't look entirely comfortable when he went off.
I'm not sure why he can come back on, because it's not an HIA, because he was clearly knocked out. So you're not allowed to have an HIA if the player was completely knocked out.
We'll have to clarify that a little later, I think, won't we? Questions will need to be asked.
But you're right, he certainly doesn't look comfortable with that shoulder, does he?
No, he was just down there in his T-shirt. He didn't even have his jersey on, so I think he had to quickly go and put his jersey on and get back out there, son.
Exactly what I said. Yeah. We're on the same page.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Just got the producer to ask the TMO why that was allowed. Apparently, he's saying because it's a permanent concussion
still
change,
left,
that's
he won't be
okay
head on head,
now.
and he won't be pre-engaged.
He's allowed to be there, but he doesn't look overly happy to be there.
Boyne!
Free kick.
He toppled in on the
Taken quickly by Reinach.
More!
And Gloucester
No balance. You
have managed.
That's what I thought.
Just listening to the explanation here from referee Craig Maxwell-Keys.
So fail more turnover. Here's the mark.
Yeah, turnover and Gloucester ball at the scrum. Let's bring in Tim Taylor, the backs coach of Gloucester. Tim, what a match. You have the advantage, but I'm guessing you're feeling a long way from secure at this point.
He's still on
no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know what our side Saints are and how much pressure and how good they are in attack with the ball. So we've got to be smart. We've had to make a few changes in this back line, getting Jake on the wing, and but we've trained that this week, so hopefully we'll be all good there. And we just need to play in the right areas now and be smart with the football.
So this was always the plan. Had you been stretched in the replacements in the back division to have Pelledri station on the wing, is it?
Yeah, this is the plan we've trained in the week. He's quick enough to go there, and obviously he's a powerful runner, so hopefully we can get a ball in his hands.
And what about the injury to Danny Cipriani? What's the latest on that?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't think it's too bad, but obviously he's a tough competitor, and he wouldn't want to come off, so we'll see how it goes, and I'll chat with the medical staff as the game goes on.
And from here, Tim, as we head into the final quarter, what are the messages that you're hoping to get onto the field about closing this game out?
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't try and defend the lead. Once we get into their half, let's keep playing, trust our shape, and keep playing the attack how we want to play.
Tim, thanks for your time.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Van Veek and Hill going off. Waller and Franks on for Northampton. A really good drive here from Gloucester.
Brilliant take from Ackerman, because he had to really reach for it to use his core strength to land in a position to set up that drive. It's got to come back.
It's simply a turnover. 8 fell on the floor.
Sort of continues the theme of the game, doesn't it, so far? You have a handful of minutes in possession, then the other team has a go.
Yeah, time off.
Lose possession.
So your 8 fell to floor,
Repeat.
you all fell over. It's a turnover ball.
Exactly. It's you have a crack, I'll have a crack, and we'll have a crack, and then you have a crack. But it's a very entertaining game, and they're one of those things. The Mauls, when they've gone 7 or 8 metres and they're on a roll, you're never going to roll them over from that far out. And I'd like to see that as it's going forward, shipped out to the backs on go forward ball, because this backline, Northampton's backline was getting really tight, and the Saints backline, even with Pelledri out there, will still be able to cause some great yards on the outside. That's a back talking, I suppose.
Well, no, or even the tail gunner of that drive, bursting out into the sort of third defender. They all then, you get quick ball, and then you've completely shortened that defensive line for your backs to attack with. You'll win the collision because the defensive line are backtracking so quickly anyway. You'll win the collision, you'll get quick ball, and you will have tied in 3 extra defenders. They will have lost all the forwards that defending them all still around that area and have the whole open field to work into.
Then we'll get some balance, yeah?
He's stationed on the blindside wing at the moment, Pelledri, but is it wrong that I want to see him against Nairavoro?
That would be an unbelievable tussle. Running Nairavolo, run dead straight. The old school jumper up, ball up the jumper, run straight. That would be one collision. But interesting to see they train that during the week, and that's the kind of opportunities you have to do. You know, a few weeks back when we played Leicester Tigers, the same thing happened. They had to train a lot of guys at different positions, and it's just a testament to how the coaching staff react to different situations.
There's Heinrich Brousseau, flanked, of course, by Dylan Hartley to his right. He's up and running again, we understand, Dylan Hartley, so hopefully not too far away from making a return. And we've got a scrum penalty here for Northampton. That was against Ruan Drea, the new Gloucester tight head, who has been out for the bulk of the season with a variety of different complaints: knee, calf, groin. Another former Lions player from South Africa, the Ackerman connection. And Bigger has tucked that up to the 22.
Banana kick.
Yeah, this is a real opportunity now for the Saints. They're moving Nairavolo into the midfield, so you can see they're probably obviously going to target the midfield carry or use him as a decoy runner, but they get an opportunity now, and it's game on.
And it goes, but the line out is a messy old affair. They've secured it through Marshall, and Laws sliding into the 22. Reinach using Franks. Ben Franks, brother Owen on his way next season. Bigger, the no-look pass for Nairavoro. Gloucester read that and have dealt with it, and they're holding him up.
Now he's broken away to attack him.
Smuggled it away, and they're trying to work the shorter side. Ludlam.
Let go, 17.
Bigger. Hutchinson wide for Tuala. Sharples makes the tackle. Marshall. Bigger again. Laws. Reinach burrowing. Gloucester. Oh, they've got turnover ball. Mostert through Slater and Atkinson. Banahan puts boot to ball. Seabrook chasing. Furbank is covering deep. 4 Gloucester players around him. And a decent enough clearance for now.
Yeah, good from Banahan. Probably would have been tempted to go there. But really good kick. Puts pressure on Furbank. Turns to see 3 defenders bearing down on him. And he only clears to just outside his 22.
Yeah, what brilliant work at the breakdown to get that turnover. Just changing the momentum. You know, the momentum was with the Saints here. Was it Rapava Ruskin over the top, is it? What great work on the floor. And as I say, Banahan, brilliant option, brilliant game management. And now they've got a brilliant attacking line out. 25, 26 metres out from their own line, from the line.
Luther Burrell is with us. He's on for Lewis Ludlam, who we will not be seeing later now. We've also got Tom Savage, who's just claimed the line-out ball. He's replaced Ed Slater. Savage off to play in Japan next season, we understand. Long-time Gloucester servant. But look at this drive here from the Cherry and Whites. They've got the penalty advantage and possession deep inside the 22. Rapava Ruskin. Morgan. Hines for Savage. They're getting closer, and he's rolling still. Hines, Atkinson holds on to it. Tackle from Burrell. Laws over the ball. Gibson 2.
He's initially on the ball firing. We've got a side entry, more penalty over here.
And there's the explanation from the referee. Gloucester playing the penalty advantage and now back for the penalty.
Just wait.
Side entry by 2.
Alex Mitchell about to arrive at scrum half. to
We're
replace
going to have 5 off here.
Reinach.
2 players down, one looks like they're assessing his head.
There was another penalty after they broke round on the maul, because the referee called it was still a maul and it got pulled over. Just need to be a bit careful, Northampton, that those penalty decisions don't start ratcheting up. Here's the side entry. It's all right there, but that's the side entry. But just watch as it rolls on. That's still a maul. The referee's called maul, and Marshall pulls it over. So not only does he come in from the side, he also ends up dropping it. Just needs to be a bit careful.
So another little huddle, another gathering of Gloucester players. This has been a feature of the contest today. Trying to keep clear minds, sensible strategies. And 12 Trees has tucked that to within 5.
Stop. I need 9, please. That's relax.
The next score you feel at the moment could be pivotal. Purvis Reinach making way for Mitchell. Another standout day for the South African number 9. Mostert with line-out ball for Gloucester. They've been driven back, but they've recovered nicely. The line-out functioning at 100%, and it may yet yield another score. Over they go. It's a try, surely. It's awarded by Craig Maxwell-Keys. And that might just do for Northampton.
Oh, it's a brilliant score, because it's not a great line-out drill. Mostert has to reach for it. He ends up landing not perfectly. Look, he's landing at the side. They switch the ball back, but look at the height underneath Mostert. They don't allow the fact that the jumper came down too upright to affect their driving positions, and they're much lower than Northampton. That is a phenomenal bit of power from the Gloucester pack. All at the right height, nothing that Saints can do to stop that.
And in the end, first try for Gloucester for Franco Murray. Job not done just yet. They're close. Already Gloucester's highest score ever at the Gardens. And the jeers will follow shortly, you suspect, the longer Billy 12 Trees ponders this. A calm head amidst the mockery. 40 points to 24. And Franco Murray with their 6th of the afternoon.
Yeah, just great build-up, great leg drive and composure in this maul. Once they worked towards the try line, they knew where it was, and it's a great finish.
Sharples has done well gathering that. It was an excellent restart kick, eminently contestable.
Yeah, play on.
Creel for Gloucester. He's had a big hand in what they've been up to at the breakdown, and indeed in the loose. That wonderful charge to the line, releasing Atkinson for one of his 3. Testa for Naira Voro. Seabrook. He's left Francis clear on the left. Surely touch found there infield. Mostert gathers it in for Gloucester, and Northampton have to revert back to defensive detail.
Gloucester just need to make these kicks a little shorter. They're just kicking a little bit too long and giving the Saints an opportunity. You need to make these 50-50.
Still injuries, never come beyond the back foot, yeah?
Hines, he's got underneath that, he's got plenty of height, and that's way too short. Seabrook, though, has made it into a decent kick. Savage. Ruskin was trying to latch.
Savage was trying to pass, wasn't he? Ruskin blocked off that option to Billy 12 Trees.
Here is 12 Trees. Atkinson, Seabrook, Banahan. Flying up towards the 10-metre line. Picked up now by Dreyer. To the short side they go. Banahan. taking on all comers. Luther Burrell makes the tackle. Creel fishes it out. Mostert drops the shoulder yet again. The work rate of Franco Mostert is extraordinary. Savage, very well tackled by Alex Waller. And Gloucester trapped behind the gain line, now making some progress through 12 trees. And that look forwards, dribbled forwards and into touch. Another man down, another medic on the field.
The medic actually got absolutely cleaned out there. And the Gloucester players just got fully took him over. It's a head. It's a head injury to. Was it Burrell?
Looks that way.
Oh, 100%. I've not seen it. I've just missed it. You'd be amazed when you can miss when you're not looking at it.
Yeah, just tackled directly onto the medic.
I think that medic's going to have a bit of a sore body tomorrow morning.
Dixie, there's no deflection on the way through, is there? So
Luther Burrell just cops a lazy boot.
No, I agree, yeah.
Unintentional from Willie Hines, I think, but he just cops on in the side of the face. I think Burrell's on at loose forward at the minute. He's
yeah, he came onto the flank when Ludlam went off.
Burrell's injury is a head injury caused by an accidental boot. Clear accident.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Luther Burrell, of course, heading off to Rugby League to join the Warrington Wolves next season. He's had his own problems with concussion. We've spoken a lot about it today with Heinrich Brousseau, of course. It's like Jaco Creel is going off for an HIA. It has been one of those sort of matches, unfortunately.
Yeah, the pace of the game's just picked up another notch. You know, we had that little bit of lull, and then it's just picked up again. And as soon as you bring these bench guys on, they're hungry. They're really hungry to impress, and they're a lot fresher. They add a lot more weight. The contacts never dipped.
So more replacements deployed by Chris Boyd. And Darren Davidyuk is one of those coming on to replace Reece Marshall. There's Darren Davidyuk, long-time Gloucester servant, of course. 8 years at Kingsholm, 95 Premiership appearances, and a man who has battled and indeed overcome testicular cancer. Dan Bigger makes way. Ken Pesey is on. So we'll have a close look at the Saints back division in a moment or two. The obvious option would be for Piers Francis to move to fly half, or Hutchinson potentially.
Yeah. Francis still outside Hutchinson.
Well, Marshall's still on the field, so Marshall's... Where is he? Stationed on the wing at the moment.
Oh, yeah, let's have some space. Are you the 9? No, you're in for 6. Perfect, he's the 9. Ball time on, please.
All become clear. Here's Davidyuk.
For short line out.
Saints debut. Picked up nicely by Laws. Hutchinson leaves it hanging for Furbank. PC, this is slick from a cobbled together back division. Arsi Tuala runs past 12 trees. That was an interesting challenge. Might require another look. Whipped away by Mitchell.
I think the 12 trees one isn't a high tackle, but it might have been one of those that was looked at by the high tackle warning system that World Rugby are talking about, chest on chest.
They're not on the ball. No.
Mitchell for Ratuni Yarawa. It's George Furbank who's playing at fly half for the Saints. There he is on the ball now. And, well, the indecision has cost him. He's been driven back inside the 22. To recycle the ball though, and Hutchinson puts width on. Gibson for Francis, hurdling the tackles. Inside ball for Hutchinson. Mitchell is there, very, very quick. Just about dragged to the ground. Wonderful tackle from Ackerman. On they go, Saints, through Marshall. And again, this game catches fire once more. PC, Tuala, Nairavoro, Harrison on the outside, being chased down by Pelledri. Cuts back in field. Nairavoro slips through one. And he's leaving bodies trailing in his wake. Murray has done himself a mischief. Marshall. 13th phase of possession, the most of the match so far. Mitchell. Still there is hope, still there is belief from these Northampton players. Laws tries to use the footwork. He's done an effective job too, but Gloucester are clamped over the top of the ball, and they've won the turnover. And yet again, it is Val Rapava-Ruskin.
The first man clamped on the ball.
Well, the Saints building pressure from their own line.
And time off. 2 players.
They think they're down and out, so they have an opportunity. They keep the ball for multiple phases, stressing the Gloucester defence. But Gloucester keep coming up with those vital turnovers right when they need them.
That was a key intervention from Ackerman. Ben.
Oh yeah, and then they come over for this turnover. That's the thing, it's backing up those defensive efforts, so one big tackle's not enough. Rapava-Ruskin has been huge over the ball, with his head over the ball, but just watch Ackerman, look where he is when this break starts. He's alongside Mitchell. You'd expect the 9 to be able to get away from him. He does initially, but he doesn't give up, he keeps going, and then last ditch makes that tap tackle. So often we see 9s finish off those tries back on the inside, just that extra ounce of effort from a guy who's had a huge game physically, and he's still at the 70th minute able to pull off tackles like that.
Right.
That's just that pure desperation you love to see in your squad. You know, that kind of thing just gives you a massive lift, gives the team a massive lift. And that's just a pure effort off the ball. No talent required, just a great effort.
I'll tell you what, the attrition rate today is high. Sharple's hobbling in an area that Gloucester can ill afford injuries in that back 3. Callum Brayley is on, and there is a Gloucester debut and indeed a Premiership debut for Mike Sherry, who's on loan from Munster, and he's on at hooker now for Franco Murray. Sharples looks distinctly uncomfortable.
Good there. That's the
Benches both emptied.
That's 5.
And the ankle that's already heavily strapped
Yeah, thank
is
you.
quite obviously giving him a lot of pain.
Stay in the 15.
Some more flankers might have to get used to playing on the wing in the next couple of weeks for the Cherry and Whites.
Losing contact with their own man to cause that. This is a more...
Making headway, Gloucester, the yellow line, the gain line, with the penalty advantage.
You can't pull a man out. Not you.
Brady would like to have the option of going quick. Jamie Gibson denying him that luxury.
Oh, wasn't the penalty against Gibson, was it? He'd done really well. He's so good at getting through mauls, almost swimming his way through the bodies, through the binds. And he did that legally, but fortunately for him, Ratuni Urawa had pulled a Gloucester player out of the maul. So that's Gibson coming through. He's legal, but just look at the number 19 there. That's not pulling him down.
Just the needless penalties. They're the ones you don't need. That's just putting pressure straight back on yourselves. Now Gloucester have a great opportunity. 12 metres, 15 metres out from the Saints line.
It is a 6-man, yep.
Well, they're taking their time here, Gloucester. They are in no hurry whatsoever with their 16-point buffer. 7.5 minutes to play. 12 Fries has done nicely, put them inside the 22. And here is Mike Sherry with the first line out in Gloucester colours.
6 is now broken away.
Wall is well set, but Ackerman has it for Gloucester.
It's a tackle, the 6 broken
Brayley
away.
finds Freddie Clark. Ten metres out. Brayley again. Pelledri over the ball. Brayley feeding the heavy runners and rumbling through his Dreyer. Brayley now for 12 Tree, space on the outside. Oh, that pass needed to go to hand. Hailey Heinz cuts back against the grain, running into trouble. Everywhere he looks, there are Saints men. Atkinson keeps it alive brilliantly. Seabrook pops it away, and now Ackerman is setting the target
Tackle now, 5,
for one more time. Saints defence well set at the moment, and Moster coughs up the ball in contact, and the potential of a counter-attack. Hutchinson is setting off, and PC's on the outside, dribbles it carefully infield, he's gathered it. What a bit of skill from the PC winger.
Oh, unlucky. That was a great bit of skill from PC. And great awareness from Hutchinson to back out of that. He knew he was in front of the kicker.
You're now going to come here, please.
Hutchinson just drifts on this pass really well. He lets it bounce, sits up for him, and then he follows back on the inside.
Definitely got a knock on, but I need to see
Gets himself onside. 12 Trees gets caught.
in the tackle or deliberate. David,
Just check whether this is a deliberate knock
We
on.
definitely got a Northampton knock on. There's potentially a white hand in there first. Can we see whether that's in the tackle or whether it's a deliberate knock on?
So we're checking for a white knock on or a deliberate knock on.
Yeah,
Callum Brayley, wasn't it? It was certainly worth another look.
Yeah, his way his eyes were.
Yeah, go in line with this
I think
one,
he might think he's in a little bit of trouble here.
So if that ball trajectory changes,
Yeah, he just gets a finger on.
He does
But
get the fingers. His
I'm
fingers
not seeing
first,
him
isn't
make
it?
contact with that.
We're just logging that back. I haven't seen clear contact yet.
It doesn't like the ball trajectory
Ball
doesn't
moves.
change in terms of the panel spin any differently once it's past
It
his hand
does.
than when it gets
It moves there. The top of the ball just rolls round.
One of those ones, he's got no chance of catching
Yeah,
it.
there's no clear and obvious contact.
Yeah,
with
no
the ball.
clear contact. The ball panels
I
don't change
disagree.
trajectory after any potential contact.
One other question for you.
Scrum white, yep.
That pass is at best flat,
Your scrum.
at worst forward. So there's a few things to take into account, but
White
Callum
ball.
Brayley perhaps can consider himself a little fortunate.
Scrum. Knock on. He doesn't touch it.
And still the clock ticks.
Your ball. Come on. It's only a scrum. We don't need a chat.
Quite right, sir.
Yeah, well, another great opportunity now for Gloucester to really attack the Saints backline. This is perfectly what you want. They're going to the two and behind again. So again, they'll either go, if they only put one down the blind side, Billy Tweltrees will shoot down the blind, but otherwise they'll go to 12.
Crouch.
Banahan running short line to try and lock up Piers Francis, and then Billy is an option out the back. So just a great move, it locks down the defence.
It's there for Morgan, who's going to go from the base, but he's lost possession of it, and Mitchell sends that forwards. But an off-the-ball challenge.
Other than a player being played off the ball. So Dixie, knock on by White, nothing else, yeah? And then we've got the penalty which trumps it.
Furbank gives that a hefty thump towards the 22.
That's the middle there. That's you there, yeah?
So interesting setup here from the Saints. They've got Reece Marshall out third in from the touchline. They'll use him on a second phase. They'll go hard up and then use him on a second phase as a decoy or a hard runner.
Darren Davidge dropping on it for Northampton. Here's Tim Harrison. Saints, of course, having this excellent record at Franklin's Gardens recently. Hutchinson, good decision to move back infield potentially. Ratuni Yarawa is there for him.
Yeah, stay there, thank you.
Franks, Furbank, picked up by Hutchinson. All class, lovely show. He's gone through the hole. That is a wonderful score. Rory Hutchinson, special.
Take a bow. This young kid is one, not for the future, one for now. One outside break, just pure class. Shows the ball, just uses his speed.
Question why yes.
And he's looking for not to be selfish, but then he finishes it well. What a young talent this kid is. Brilliant to see him playing such high quality rugby.
Such a balanced runner, isn't he? It's not that hard stepping, but he just seems to be able to arc his way between defenders.
Here's Francis. Taking over the kicking duties very effectively. 40 points to 31. 3.5 minutes remaining. And given what we've seen for the rest of this afternoon. Don't be making any bets. That was classy.
Oh, it's so classy. Even now, Northampton have got the opportunity to really close this gap and get within 7 to get those extra points. All now Gloucester, they're just taking their time. But you watch the Saints, they'll run it, they'll go from everywhere. This young side, they'll back themselves.
So already with the bonus point from the tries, they're looking for the losing bonus or better. Northampton. Franklin's Gardens has been really blessed this season with an avalanche of tries, and they've got possession here. Ruskin falling foul of the whistle.
They want to go quick.
And if it's tackled completely, definitely can't strip it.
Big clearance. Huge amount of ground gained by George Furbank. Northampton still mixing it. Ben, time for our man of the match.
It's got a bit nervous now to announce it now, but it came down to 2 of the centres, really. I think Hutchinson's been outstanding for Northampton, but 3 tries, you've got to give it to Mark Atkinson. He's been absolutely superb in the midfield, taking his opportunities when they were there, but it's been more than just those tries. He's our Gallagher Premiership man of the match.
Davidjuk charged with hitting his man. He does just that. Floated in front of Hutchinson. Francis brought to ground by Morgan. Whipped away by Davidjuk. Furbank for PC. Held by Atkinson. The momentum stemmed for the moment. Laws is the next into the front line.
Yeah, that's good.
90 seconds remaining. Marshall, who's had a very busy time of it at hooker today. Mitchell, Furbank, Francis for PC, defend on 12 trees. Hutchinson via a deflection and into touch. That is going to be a Northampton line out.
Yeah, Gloucester just looking a little tired at the moment. Saints have got a bit of energy. They're really trying to push for this final try to get this losing bonus point. Again, they're bringing Nairavolo into that centre position. I'd say it's going to be route 1.
There's the big man. Don't want anything too fancy here, do you? The decision has to be made. Is he over Mark? Well, first of all, you've got to win your line out.
Mostert for Gloucester. Absolutely critical intervention. In the 80th minute, the man with one of the biggest engines in the Gallagher Premiership has come up with the steal. And now it's a possession game and a phase game for the remaining 20 minutes, but they've lost it. But they have the penalty and the offside decision from the referee. Hearts in mouths there for a moment.
He stood in an offside position when he's played the ball back.
I think Chris Boyd knows that the game is up, and they are more than likely to leave with just a single bonus point as opposed to 2. Clock in the red.
So if you tap the ball and kick it out, the game's over. And
Gloucester it is. What a game we've seen at the Gardens today. Exciting times for the Cherry and Whites, powering forward seemingly to the playoffs with a decent run in. Cipriani sticking around, top 4 within reach, and their first win today at Franklin's Gardens for 6 long years. Full time. Northampton 31, Gloucester 40.